The Defenders, Episode 4, Royal Dragon. This was a pretty good episode. It was like the calming episode in between two pretty crazy episodes. I guess technically the last episode wasn't crazy, it was just the ending was, the big fight sequence. But this was pretty awesome, because that was like, we had all the characters, and it's like, here's the recap for episode 1, here's, the two halves of the characters together for episode 2, and then the third episode was like, officially, these two halves come together, everyone's at Midland Circle, boom, the Defenders. So now that they've done, their crazy big fight, they take off, they end up at the Royal Dragon Chinese food place, and they go in, and it was funny, because it was kind of a crappy situation for the owner, because it's just like, hey, we just need you to, it was just the random place that was like, just barely open, like they're just about to close, and then it's like, hey, sorry, we need this place to look like it's closed, and everything is like cutting off lights and stuff. Great dialogue, especially like pretty much everything surrounding Matt's powers were probably like some of my favorite dialogue in the whole episode, because everything was like, they turn the lights, he's like, I still hear neon, and it's like, he goes away, and it's like, Luke's like, who hears neon? It's like, I don't know, I've been trying to figure out what the deal is with this dude, so Jessica doesn't understand, Danny's just trying to figure out his powers, like, I don't get, what's happening here, no one understands his powers, so it's just super funny every time something random happens, like the part with the food, the part with the light, and then Danny like just randomly asking questions and them still trying to figure out exactly what's going on with them. So loved all of that. Of course, this is the characters after, they're kind of thrown into this big fight sequence. It's like, all right, we're good, the hand is bad. So, they end up together, and then it's like, all right, got ourselves a little hiding spot, Stick ends up showing up, and that's when, sort of the team talk comes into play, where it's like, all right, we're here for now, this is like our little hideout. Danny's like number one, where it's like, hey, we were all there together, like all these crazy situations came together at the same time for us to be there. He's the first one to be like, team, like that's basically it. Everyone else is like, I don't know. Jessica's like, nope, more of a loner. And Luke is like, I was kind of just looking to help like this one person and then kind of get a little bit of revenge, and that was sort of it. I thought it was just, like a take down a couple people at a company, no big deal. And then for Matt, it's just like, no, it's the hand. Can't do it again, lost Elektra, kind of got her back, so now that's effing me up. And it's just like, no, this is horrible. And then, of course, when Stick shows up, that's when it gets even worse, where they go into just, it's Stick. And that's really bad for Matt, like, that he just doesn't trust that in any regard. And Danny's just taking it everywhere, like, okay, like, you understand this, you understand that about Kunlun, you know about the chase, and then, the hand and stuff like that. And it was really cool. I was like, okay, I like how this is playing out, and it's, seeing how the characters are reacting to what they know and what they don't know, and gaining those little bits of information, like Matt and Danny being, kind of in the same side of this, where it's like they both know about the hand and they know about the chase and all this other stuff. And I like that idea, where it's like all these, these four characters coming together, and then you have Danny and Matt, with Stick, and it's like, that's kind of their thing, and then Jessica and Luke, where it's just like, I was just doing like a little thing, and now poof, it's, it's kind of blowing up for the two of them. So I love the way that played out, and of course, Jessica stuck with her loner guns, where it was like, this is just too much. I helped a client, her husband died, I'm just trying to get some more answers, and that's it. Like, I'm not trying to do a crazy ninja thing where people get resurrected and stuff like that. It's like, nope, just trying to do my thing. So, of course, she takes off, and I love the way they did that, because, of course, we knew she was going to end up coming back in some regard, but, it's just really cool. It's like they're going through it, and they're having their conversation. We get a really cool set of scenes, actually. So after Jessica leaves, she finds out what's going on. We learn, officially, Alexandra. I was rewatching episodes with my girlfriend to catch up, and I was like, okay, I've officially seen and heard her name enough times to remember Alexandra is like our main villain. But she realizes that the signature is the same person. I would assume it's Alexandra just because, she's the main villain. But she realizes the signatures are the same, and she's like, crap, maybe this isn't just a bunch of BS, so, that kind of gets her involved. And so she ends up going to the mother, like, really late at night. It's like, I'm going to get you some protection. Turns out that the hand was already watching the family, so she takes this dude down. Has a great scene after she takes him out of the car, and he won't give up any information. And she, first off, when he comes at her, she's like, Jesus, am I the only person left who doesn't know karate? But the ending of that scene I loved, because she just puts his head on the window, and then she slowly crushes his head, and you see like the glass start to crack and stuff. And I was like, that's actually a really cool sequence. I just love the way they did that. So then, of course, it cuts back to the rest of the Defenders with Stick, and he's giving them like this huge lesson on where the hand came from, and we find out that, and this makes so much sense now, but the reason that Madame Gao is with Alexandra is because they are two of the fingers, basically, of the hand. And I was like, oh, That explains why Madame Gao talks about, being in Kunlun. That explains why Alexandra kind of said some of the exact same stuff where it's like, I dealt with Iron Fist before, and I was like, okay, very interesting. So we get kind of like the full history lesson on the Hand, and how it's like these 5 people who didn't want to basically do good, they wanted to do evil, and they wanted to live forever. So we find out that the 5 people are Alexandra, Madame Gao, the man in the white hat, I want to say his name is Sawando, and then we have the the guy that Alexandra went to. I can't think of his name. I'm having a really tough time remembering his name. And then the last person we find out is Bakudo. And I was like, oh, that was him I was seeing in the trailers. Because there were a couple of scenes where I was like, I'm pretty sure that was Bakudo, but it would be so fast. And it's like, okay, so Bakudo showing up again. And then Danny's like, oh, well, last time I saw him, he was dead. And I was like, that was definitely Bakudo. Because clearly, once you reveal that this character who is just like a member of the Hand is actually like one of the original people from centuries ago, it's like, yeah, he's going to be alive. We're going to see him at some point. So I was like, he's coming back. So that was pretty cool. I was like, all right, we get some answers there. It kind of speaks to what I was talking about before with Madame Gao. I was like, I was just waiting, like, when is she going to kind of be at the top? And I guess she already is. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But really awesome, bit of detail there, learning about these characters. And, the 5 of them coming together is basically like the worst thing in the universe. And that's pretty much what's happening. And then we have the ending where they come together on the Royal Dragon. And it was actually pretty cool. It's like, it starts off really simple. And it's just Alexandra who actually is able to sneak up on both Stick and Matt. And then it's just like, okay, well, you know how this is happening. Like, we want Danny, she's kind of feeding them the lines and stuff. It's like, we can't say what we want them for, but we don't want to kill them. They need them. I'm just going to assume it's for the whole, the door thing. It has to be the Iron Fist that unlocks it. But it's just like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then it's like, okay, well, things are starting to get tough. And then Jessica makes her return, pretty epic return. And then it cuts off, and we're going to the next episode where they're right back to all the madness. So I'm looking forward to that. But this is definitely an awesome episode. It's like, right after their first team up, and then we get to see them kind of relate to each other a little bit more and truly learn everything that's happening, all the different facets. Even with Matt knowing the most out of everyone there, Matt and Danny, they still learn extra stuff, and it's just like, okay, I'm actually liking this. Like, it's a lull, but it was really good because we're officially seeing them together, and now they're just together. And so I'm looking forward to that, and just them sticking together and going through the rest of the rest of the series. So definitely fun, and I got the action for the next episode I'm sure will be just as awesome as the last episode. So of course would love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it, and I actually want to know what you guys thought about the little history lesson of the Hand and its origins, because I actually thought it was really cool. Answered a couple questions, because like I said, I was just wondering like what's the deal with Madame Gao, exactly how old are these characters, because we knew they were there for a long time, and then it's like, oh, they were there from the beginning of Kunlun, and it was like, okay, that even that actually adds, even though that's still like no actual specification of time, it's like, okay, that adds to something, because that means that they weren't just there like, oh, they made it to Kunlun and then they left. They were there literally from the beginning, so that like what they know is far beyond what I was thinking, because I was like, Madame Gao clearly knows a lot, but then that's just like, she was basically there making it herself. Like she's basically a part of what makes it Kunlun, because they were some of the original members. And I was like, okay, that adds just an extra little bit of interest for me as far as these characters. So looking forward to how that ends up playing out, getting to see all of the fingers of the Hand and stuff like that. So that should be pretty exciting for all of them coming together, and we've seen what Madame Gao can do. So I can only imagine how that's going to play out with 5 5 people that are Madame Gao basically, and some of them are younger, especially like Bakudo. I think is probably the youngest out of all these characters. So it's just like, well, we'll see how that plays out, because he can clearly fight. I would assume there are a couple of other characters that can fight. The Japanese dude, clearly he goes and hunts like rare animals and stuff. It's like they always almost kill him. So it's like, I'm sure he's coming in, and even Stick says like, that's an issue. If he's coming out, we got some problems. So it's like, it's gonna be nuts. But I'd love to know what you guys thought about the origin of the Hand, and of course this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.